mostly rhetorical. It's mostly rhetorical.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Mostly Rhetorical. I'm your host, Daniel Radcliffe, but not in Harry Potter. I watched him recently in like a rom-com kind of situation, and he's too, not that he's too Harry Potter in Harry Potter, not that the role, I can't see him in anything else. It's just he's too, his accent is so proper that it doesn't lend itself to a goofy rom-com. I mean, he does. He rocks. I'm a Radcliffer. I'm a Clifferton. Is that what he's? I'm a Daniel. I'm a Faniel of Daniel. Whatever you want to call it. And if this episode's not called a Faniel of Daniel, shut me up. You know what I'm saying? But it's called The F Word. It came out a while ago, and it's all based in Toronto. It's all shot in Toronto. And it feels so good. Like movies that are shot where maybe you're from, maybe that's just universal. If a movie is shot where you're from, it's just like, oh my God, everyone's like, I know that street. That's the main street. Is that the CN Tower? Everyone's losing it because the CN Tower's in a movie. I do it every time. It's so funny. Like anytime anything's in a movie, anytime there's something I know or that's in my area from a movie, I'm just losing my mind, dude. It's so funny. I feel like we all do that. I hope, because it's such a fun feeling. And especially seeing Daniel Radcliffe, who's originally from Hogwarts and Harry Potter series as we know it, being in Toronto. If the movie was just called Daniel and the CN Tower, I'd have it on DVD if I had a DVD player. I'm going to come back to this, but I'm going to come back to being a Faniel of Daniel. But I moved into a new place and didn't have internet for about 4 seconds, and I was losing my mind, just didn't know what to do. Was out of options. I don't even watch anything either. Like, I don't even need internet, but I was like, I gotta fucking... How am I going to send my emails, even though, you know, I had data on my phone? I downloaded like 70,000 episodes of Community because I guess I needed I needed the feeling that I could watch something. Not that I needed to watch it, but I just needed the feeling that I could watch something. And I was talking to my mom and she was like, well, do you want the DVDs? And collectively in our family, we have about 4 DVDs. It's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, A Charlie Brown Christmas, The Grinch maybe, and then It's a Wonderful Life. No, that's on VHS. Anyway, they're all Christmas movies, and I don't want to watch any of them. But I actually considered, from the drought of internet that I had, of buying a DVD player used. Imagine getting a new DVD player right now. It'd be like $4, or maybe it wouldn't be. But I think that's my next big purchase. Moved out for the first time. First bigger purchase of my life. Second one is buying a DVD player. New, not used. Don't give me that used shit, even though, you know, 2000 was 24 years ago. It seems weird to say out loud. But Daniel, yeah, you should watch The F Word if you haven't seen it. It's such a fun movie. But the whole time, all I could think of was that chess scene from the fucking first Harry Potter that everyone's made, that TikTok has made a huge meme out of. Ron, no. Once you take my move, and when. My mom watches this, speaking of when, my mom watches this show called Find Your Roots. And it's a show where they look into celebrities' ancestors and their past. And pretty much everyone's ancestor of a celebrity was just like a slave owner. It just seemed like that's like, I don't watch the show, but every wrap up that I've seen, and they're like, and then every wrap up that I've seen of the show, they're like, and yeah, your great, super, extremely great grandfather was a slave owner. And the celebrity's always just like, wow. And just does that every time, just kind of nods. Sometimes they're like shaking their head and like, I don't know if they're like, if they've been told this information prior to, but they always seem like not as blown away as they should be that their that their past was full of agony and being the fucking worst. But they always ask, how does that make you feel? They always ask, the guy's like, how does that make you feel? If I was asked that question, I'd just fucking leave. I'd be like, yeah, dude, pretty ashamed of my past. Thanks for letting me know that on live TV. But I assume they tell you in advance, so you're not extremely blown away that your past is the worst of all time. But the way that the guy talks, and I think this might be true for a lot of like documentary style or anything. The news does it, but the way that everyone talks, they go bum 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 dun 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 dun. And he knew dun 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 dun. So like everything has that like up, like it goes up and down. And that's what I've noticed from that fucking Finding Your Roots show. I just want to go on there, man. I just want to go on there and I don't want them to go too deep. I just want them to go to like my parents and they're like, did you know your father was a young man once? And I'd be like, and they'd be like, how does that make you feel? And I'd be like, I gotta go. Just not knowing how to. And then I'd leave. And as I'm leaving, they're like, da-da-ga-ga, and he left. Thanks for coming. Your father was 30 once. Speaking of shows my mom watches, that's this whole episode. This whole show or this whole episode is stuff my mom watches. Maybe that's the new podcast. When I get a spin-off podcast, that's going to be the new podcast of the shows my mom watches. It's Jeopardy, dude. Jeopardy, I honestly love Jeopardy so much. I get nothing right. I'll only get the music ones right, and it's one of the music things. So I'm getting like 1% of things right, and it feels so good. Like I'd go on Jeopardy if Jeopardy would have me on, and then maybe this is my audition tape. I'm just there to get one thing right. I fucking picked the thing. This for 200. This for 200. And I'm just like, no one knows what the fuck I'm talking about. The one I know for 200, please. And it goes, and it's a daily double. And I have negative $1,000. And they're like, you can't bet anything. And I'm like, I'll bet it all, please. And they're like, no, you can't. There's nothing to bet. And I'm like, the one I know for 2,000, please. And they're like, no, it's already a daily double. And I just be like clicking the button. I'd be clicking the button, even though I clicked the button already and got the daily double. And they're like, okay, for negative $2 billion, how many O's are in the word book? And I'd be like, can I call a friend? And they're like, this isn't Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. There's no options here, dude. And I'd be like, but can I call a friend? I know there's not an option to call a friend, but can I call a friend? And they'd be like, yeah. Whoever replaced Alec Trebek, Ken Jennings. Ken Jennings is the new guy. And Ken Jennings would be like, yeah, I guess so. You know what I mean? And then I'd call my friend and be like, no, you're not going to believe this. Boop, 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 boop. I dial it. I dial their number. And I wouldn't have them on just my contacts list. Boop, 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 boop. And I get their voicemail. You have reached. You know how everyone's voicemail just sounds like absolute shit on their phone? They say their name. You have reached. And it's just nothing. You're like, did I fucking reach the right person? Say your name number after the beep. Beep. Hey man, I'm just on Jeopardy right now, and I just got the daily double. I have nothing to bet. Just wanted to give you a shout. Honestly, next Friday isn't good for me. If you want to do something on Saturday, and Ken Jennings is just like, what is going on with this guy? And the other contestants are just like, tell them I say hi. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, the question is, I mean, Jeopardy's probably going to be over by the time you get this. Hopefully not. I do have 5 seconds to answer this. Anyway, how many O's are in the letter? I mean, how many O's are in the word books? Just get back to me. Okay, see it. Bye. Boop. Just like the oldest phone. I'm just using like a rotary phone. Pass. And Ken Jennings just like, and they're like, there you have it. That was Jeopardy for this week. Joey obviously didn't win. Okay, I'm getting carried away with this. So watching Jeopardy with my mom, great experience. She'll just yell shit. Like when she's watching hockey, she'll just go, shoot, and just yell the only things that she knows is happening. And even with other sports, like just any sport that's on, shoot. Football, shoot it. Fuck it. Shoot. And she knows like 4 of the players, and she'll just, as soon as one of the players gets it, she's all over it. Fucking Nylander, shoot. But we're watching Jeopardy, and they have 2 regular people on the show. Like I say regular because the third person they have on the show is Ike Barinholtz, a pretty large celebrity. And it's cool when they do that, when they have like Celebrity Jeopardy. But in this case, it was, just to put it the way that I saw it, 1 loaded guy and 2 people that don't have that as much money. Like, for example, I was like, this is interesting. Why did they put Ike Barinholtz on here? And this isn't like a charity thing, you know? Like I feel like when it's Celebrity Jeopardy, it's going to charity or some a solid cause, because the celebrities have so much fucking money already, dude. Like they don't need any more money. But in this case, it was to win money. And Ike Barinholtz, I looked up his net worth, and it was like 13 or 15 million dollars. Like, Ike, you don't need to be winning any more money, dude. You were on the Mindy Project on Mad TV and maybe other things that I haven't seen yet. You don't need to be doing this. So I'm watching this thing with Ike, the millionaire Barinholtz, and he's fucking winning. He just starts winning, and then he gets like daily double, where daily double, I know I already said it before and then didn't explain it, but I'll explain it now if you don't know what daily double is. You can just bet all the money that you've already won, and if you get it right, it just doubles the money. It just doubles what you bet. And if you bet if you have $2,000, now you have $4,000. And he's got like $7,000 so far and bets it all. Fucking obviously this guy's going to bet it all. He's a millionaire already. He has absolutely nothing to lose. And he fucking got it right. So this guy is just soaring past these, at this point, pretty poor people. In comparison, these people are poor. Like being a 15 millionaire. So he bets it all. And it's like, I think people play it safe because you want to retain some money and obviously keep it going and not just go to zero and still be a millionaire like Ike, just like Ike. And he won the whole thing and moved on. And it was like, does this guy need $60,000 right now? Like, it's great that he won, but it just feels so weird that they just let this guy in and just let him win, even though, and just not like donate it to charity or something. I don't know. Either way, Ike, if you're listening, give me a shout, man. I'm going on Jeopardy soon, and I got to know how many letters are in books. Speaking of millionaires, watched the Super Bowl when it happened like 8 months ago, I guess in February, a month ago. And Temu was a brand that came up, and I feel like a lot of people saw this. They don't really care about sports or anything. I'm just there for the wings. I just want to have a Super Bowl party and not watch the Super Bowl. That's all I want to do, dude. A Super Bowl party where nothing's on and I'm just eating wings. I guess I'm just having dinner. I guess I just want to have dinner is mainly my thing. But there's an advertisement for Temu, which is it's like a discount Amazon website. And their slogan is "Shop like a billionaire," which is like one of the best slogans I've ever heard and one of the worst slogans I've ever heard. But the latter, more so the latter. And I downloaded the app and just kind of completely forgot. And I think a couple of weeks later I looked, and because that it was on Super Bowl, it might have like launched for the Super Bowl or whatever it was. And it was like the most downloaded app because of that in the world. And then me and my cousin were looking at it. He brought it up and we were looking at the site, and it just makes absolutely no sense. Like there's a ukulele for like $13. And it's like made of like toothpicks. How do you make a ukulele for $13, dude? like the amount of things that were on there. I just think if you get prints or something from a site like that, they're just not going to look too good. I think they might look like shit. I'm not sure, but if you can get a ukulele for $13 on this app where you're shopping like a billionaire, you might get something that looks like shit if it's like a print or art or something like that. Anyway, I'm just going to be shopping like a billionaire for the rest of the day. But if you haven't already, please follow this podcast, rate it. I don't know what that means. I guess give it 5 stars. Rate it on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you can rate stuff. Do that. You know what I mean? Follow us on YouTube. I just released an album under my rock project. It's called Brag, and the album is called Does Everything Take This Long? It's on all streaming platforms. You can stream it wherever you want. I hope the rest of your day is great, and I'll talk to you soon.
It's mostly rhetorical. It's mostly rhetorical.